What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? Welcome to the Six-Man Show Postgame Live presented by Thrivent. As many of you in the chat already guessed, yes, no Kevin tonight. You've got me here, Jonathan. Kevin is in London, and over there it's like, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning. So he is asleep. I am here filling in this evening once again for the Postgame Live presented by Thrivent. Your Orlando Magic, that is not the score. They fall 120 to 107, I believe it was. Let's go back to this here. Man, what? 112 to 120. Let's update the text here. What a disaster. We're going to get right into this in just a second here once I update this, folks. I'm talking about the win or the loss. I'm not talking about me not updating the graphic correctly here. Let's go ahead and do that. Thought I had it all. But the ticker down at the bottom is correct, so there is that. What a disaster of a loss. The Magic's effort just was not there tonight, quite frankly, at least for most of the rotation guys. They were down 26 with a few minutes to go in that third quarter. Jamal Mosley goes to the lineup of Jace Richardson, Tyus Jones, Jet Howard, Noah Penda, Jonathan Isaac, with a little bit of Goga Batadze sprinkled in there, and that unit literally drags the Magic back from the dead in this game, cuts the lead to 2 points with 5 minutes, 7 seconds to go. And yes, that lineup understandably ran out of gas at the end of this after playing 9 straight minutes with the level of defensive intensity they had to play with to cut into this lead. And then yes, CJ McCollum checks in this game and he starts hitting shots and made it a little bit tougher. And we're going to get into this. I know people's opinions in the chat are going to be split. We saw this at least on social media as I was talking about this game as it was happening. It was kind of like 50-50 of people that wanted Mosley to check some of the starters back into this game versus the people, and I was in this camp, that were like, hey, screw them tonight. They didn't want to play hard the first... What was that, 35, 34 minutes of this game? These guys are coming in, they're balling. Send a message to the starters. If you are not going to play with effort and you're not going to defend, you don't deserve to be on the floor to close this game. It was the Wizards, a winnable game. You should have won this game. It's an inexcusable loss, but the effort not only tonight, but I think I speak for everyone here, the over... 100 of you that are here watching, listening live, if you're listening to this after the fact, the effort for this team has been inexcusable for just about a month now. Since Franz Wagner has gone down, and I'm not saying everything 100% is caused by Franz Wagner not playing, not being in the lineup, whatever the case may be. But since he went down right around that time in the beginning of December, the Magic have not won consecutive games in over a month now. I think since December 3rd, the Magic have not won consecutive games, and that is because the effort on a night-to-night basis just is not there. And in the wins that they've gotten in the last month, it feels like they've survived more of those than they've actually just gone out and won. So appreciate. Let's see how many of you are here. We've got 150 of you watching on YouTube and plenty others over on X. Once again, this is the Postgame Live presented by Thrivent. A quick word from our presenting sponsor, Thrivent, and Marc.Abraham, who is pretty much the main sponsor of the show, he and his family. Marc.Abraham is a financial advisor with Thrivent. He's also a diehard Magic fan and season ticket holder up there in section 118. Marc specializes in retirement planning, budgeting, saving, debt elimination, and a lot more. So if you're looking to be wise with your money, you want someone to help you out on that end, give Marc a call. His number is 407-366-4364, or you can check out his website and his email address. Both of those are in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find that below the video. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, you can find those in the show notes. So a big shout out to Marc and Thrivent for sponsoring the show. Let's go ahead. Let's get to some super chats. We do have some of those here. First of all, we have Califam7 says, SMH, no words. Here's a donation instead. First of all, appreciate the generosity, appreciate the donation. But yes, shaking my head. I've got a lot of words. We'll go through this. Going to try to not let this one drag on super long. We do have another game tomorrow night, but very, very frustrating loss. The effort, the intention, the focus, the effort especially on the defensive end, rebounding. Like, we're seeing guys just be really sloppy with the ball, turning the ball over, and then not getting back on defense. It's just unacceptable. We're seeing guys, the ball gets poked loose, or one of your teammates throws a bad pass and somebody tips it. You got a chance to get to the ball, and the Wizards are beating you to every loose ball. And this is a trend that has been going on literally for weeks. It is a massive problem right now for the Orlando Magic, and it needs to be figured out. It's not good. Thank you so much, Califam, for the chat here. Kenneth Hadler, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, starters played with no energy, glad they were sat. I'm kind of right there with you. I am not that upset. I'm upset that you lost this game. I'm upset with the way that the starters played through the first, almost three full quarters of this game. I tweeted this out kind of in jest, but in this one, the first unit dug a hole too big that the third unit couldn't get you out of it, and they almost did. If the first unit had played with the energy and intensity that third unit played with to end the third and the first 7 minutes of the fourth before they got gassed out, the starting unit plays with that level of energy and effort, especially on the defensive end, you win this game going away by 20. So, Kenneth, thank you so much. eCraft here says, starters putrid, but this is P5's team and he needs to act like it. No intensity or leadership from P5. No back-to-back wins since December 1. No fluke after P5 came back. Also, Mo sucks too. Why choose one when both are problems? First of all, very, very, very generous super chat. Thank you so much. Paolo's energy at points tonight, just like the rest of the starters, was not good. I would agree with you. Paolo Banchero is the franchise guy, the number 1 overall pick, just signed the max contract in the offseason. He is the leader of this team. Everyone looks to Paolo to lead this team. And right now, it feels like everyone is looking to Paolo. I know he can do it. I know he's capable of it. He needs to be the guy to pick this team up and drag them to wins. Needs to be setting the example with his energy, with his intentionality on both ends of the floor. Paolo has to be that guy for us. Jamal Mosley, look, we've talked about it ad nauseum this season. I know it's the hot topic of conversation right now amongst many, if not all, Magic fans. He is not a perfect coach. He has his warts. He has his flaws. I do not know who to blame the effort on. It is so many guys right now. It is inexcusable. Somebody needs to figure out what's going on. Somebody needs to fix it. I don't know if that means calling guys out publicly. I do not have an answer for it. All I know is that it is inexcusable, and it is really, really tough to watch these games right now. We have another super chat here from Hekia03. He says, what is your opinion on Paolo's defensive effort and leadership? I see lots of jogging. Is he hurt? Does he want most fired? I'm not going to speculate about that last part there, but I think I just talked a little bit about the effort, and I do think it definitely could be better. K9X says, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for the super chat, and yes, a very happy New Year to you. We have another super chat here. This is from Losanity04. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. He says he didn't have to put all 5, maybe just Bane or even AB. It's a 2-point game. That was disgusting by Mosley to do that. He lost the starters for real now. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Only time will tell. If he did lose the starters, to me that says more about the starters than it does Jamal Mosley. It was very, very clear to everyone why those guys stayed in the game, and I really do think they deserve to stay in the game. Anthony Black, I mean, as much as we've talked about how great Anthony Black has been, this was a very, very bad Anthony Black game. Anthony Black will be the first person to tell you that. Just very, very frustrating. I mean, he's been great. Don't get me wrong, but he is, should I say, he was very frustrated tonight. Not that he was very frustrating. He's had one bad game. He's been awesome lately. So I don't think that it's like, oh yeah, he definitely should have put these guys back in, because they gave you next to no reason to believe that they should have. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is a great one. Joseph Chubb. He says, you guys listen, this is our fault for being so critical. Don't blame the coach or players, or Jonathan will get mad at us again. Joseph Chubb, you've been a listener and a crazy awesome supporter for such a long time. If that's what you took from what I said, maybe I said it the wrong way. I apologize. But I just think that there has been a lot of criticism of certain players and Jamal Mosley that has gone a step too far. But I have said not all of it has been unwarranted. Criticism in itself, I do think is warranted and is fair in certain aspects. But it's just gotten to the point with this fan base right now, and I think you probably would agree with this, that every time anything goes wrong, it's, hey, fire this guy. And I don't agree with that. So appreciate the support, appreciate the comment here. Tyler Morrison says, how does Paolo not get blame as a leader of the team? I do believe that he gets some of the blame for this performance. I do think he has a hand in the energy that this team is playing with, because it's not like he's playing like completely out of his mind, all the effort in the world, all of the energy, and everybody else isn't. It's a collective thing right now. Man, this is going to be quite the chat to get through here tonight. Once again, appreciate all of you being here. I apologize for the late start to this. I know there's a lot of people that are seeing that. Booyah says, playing Penda and Jaya late is a fireable offense. Completely disagree, just because those guys were so such a big part of getting you back into this game. Joey said they had lost 11 straight and won tonight. I'm sick. Yeah, I think it was that they had lost 11 straight to the Magic. I don't think the Wizards were coming off of an 11-game losing streak. I'm pretty sure they've been playing pretty well recently. But yes, the Magic had beaten the Wizards 11 straight times before this one here. Toe Life Channel 3679 says, yeah, shout out to our bench. Yep, they were awesome. The Only Hero says, I can't with Mose. How can you watch this game and see this man as a championship level coach? That is yet to be seen. As we talked about on the last episode, I do believe that he is going to get the opportunity to see the year out. And then, yes, there are a lot of difficult, hard questions that are going to need to be answered about whether or not Jamal Mosley is the guy to lead this team forward. Okay, let's see. We've got some more super chats here. This is from Mez67K9X, says, our fan base can get psychotic at times. Hey, the one thing that I love, not one thing, but one of the things that I love about Orlando Magic fans is just how awesome they are, how passionate they are, how much they care about this team. I will always, always, always appreciate all of that. Dylan Holden says, real problems officially here in Orlando. Unfortunately, folks, buckle up. Mo sent the message, but now is on the clock. Jamal Mosley was always going to be on the clock this season. I think most people came into the season knowing that. And I think maybe we touched on this in some of our off-season, preseason conversation stuff, is that the person in the organization that had the most pressure and the most riding on this season was always going to be Jamal Mosley. Thank you so much, Dylan, for the super chat. We've got a super chat here from Jacob Giamo. Says, am I crazy for thinking the starters didn't deserve even to touch the floor again? There has to be consequences for playing like that. Shout out the bench. Jacob, that's about where I am. But as I'm going through the chat here, it really seems pretty split here. So appreciate everybody for being here, tuning in for the post-game live here. Argery4592 says, Jet deserve more playing time. Free Jet, Jace, and Penda. Yeah, I think it's tough to argue that those guys don't deserve to see the floor more often. Some people were critical of me for being critical that Jamal Cain was playing these last couple of games, and Jet was really just riding the bench after, he had a few bad games, but he's had really good performances this year. And I think it's just pretty obvious that Jet just has the ability to give you more than Jamal Cain, even if Jamal, I guess, theoretically has a higher, type of floor here. MK3504 says, saying Paolo is the leader of this team ad nauseum is gaslighting. Franz has always been the most impactful player for years. Magic follow Franz. I am right there in saying those guys are both incredibly important to this team. We do have a lot of evidence right now that's saying that the Magic just really struggle to function without Franz Wagner. I think that's totally fair. If we're talking about just a regular season perspective, yeah, the Magic struggle on a game in, game out basis to function, to, really play with a lot of intentionality on the defensive end, maybe without Franz Wagner. I would also point out that Jalen Suggs hasn't been playing a lot recently either. And a lot of the metrics say that Jalen is one of, if not the most impactful guys on the team. But when even a guy like Franz Wagner says that Paolo is the leader of this team, which he has referred to Paolo as the best player on this team. You need both of these guys. I just don't think it's helpful for us to go back and forth arguing about who's this team better with, who's the best player on this team. It's really not productive whatsoever, in my opinion. Both of these guys are on the team. We need to root and support for both of these guys. But yeah, there's a problem that this team really, really, really struggles without Franz Wagner. But I think ultimately the ceiling of this team is on Paolo Banchero's shoulders. This team can be really good, with Franz Wagner, playing and playing well. But this team, I don't think is going to be able to get to that next level, get to their ceiling, and do all the things that we all said that they were capable of without Paolo Banchero. But all of that to say, Paolo's effort needs to be better than it was tonight. Everybody's effort needs to be better than it was tonight outside of the guys that came in and got you back in this game. Mez67K9X with another super chat says starters are getting benched on purpose to get rest. There is some of that. I definitely think that that's fair, but I also think that Jamal Mosley has showed in years past that he's going to ride the hot hand, and those guys played well enough to get you back into that game. They deserve to see it the way out. We're getting a lot of super chats tonight. Really, really appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that's here watching, listening. If you're in the chat, the best way to get your comment, your chat read instantly is through the super chats. But I am going to try to get through as many of these super chats as I can. Just because there are so many of you here and the chat is so active tonight. We've got another one. This one is from Christian X Manuel. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. Weltman was at the game tonight. Could that have influenced Moses' vision with the starters? No. Weltman is at most, if not all, of these games. That's not something that is out of the ordinary. Okay. Tyler Morrison 420 says, on the bright side, Penda defense was amazing and Jace is so good. I take back everything good I ever said about Tyus. Please start Jace. Make Penda the six-man, trade Isaac. He had good plays tonight. There's a lot to unpack there. Jace and Penda, very, very good tonight. Tyus, has good games, has not so good games, mostly not so good games. Trade Isaac. Look, has not been what we need this year. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. The trade deadline is coming up. I would not be shocked if Jonathan Isaac, we start to hear him, in some of these trade rumors here. Bo Hui Han 6302 says, we are so miserable. I don't know if you're talking about our fan base, because yes, we definitely are miserable and can be miserable at times, especially with the way that the team is playing right now, or if you're talking about the team, because yes, the team is playing miserably basically every other game right now. Blake W's, I think this is Blake W, says not putting Dez in the final minutes is insane. I don't know that it's insane. I hear both sides. I think both sides are fair and valid. Just in this instance, with the way that this team has been playing the last month, and again, like someone just pointed out, this is the first night of a back-to-back. I really don't hate the fact that he didn't bring those guys back. There's a lot of fire Mosley. There's a lot of stuff blaming Paolo Banchero. It's a lot of the same. And look, guys, I understand all of the sentiments. I understand the frustration, especially after a loss like this. This is genuinely one of the worst losses of the year, and it's inexcusable from top to bottom. It's just what we're seeing right now. The product that we're getting right now is genuinely not good enough. I don't even know what to respond to a lot of these chats because it's all fire Mose. Would appreciate you guys not spamming in the chat. Trust me, we get the sentiment, but it's not conducive to me trying to get through a post-game live right now. Love you all so much. But okay, let's go ahead. We're going to jump over to the box score, take a look at how Magic players played individually tonight. Like look at this plus minus stuff over here out of the starters. Paolo minus 22, Tristan minus 27, Wendell minus 19, Dez minus 12, Anthony Black minus 19. I just don't know how you really genuinely argue that these guys deserve to see the floor in the last few minutes of this game. Paolo 5 of 10, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, 19 turnovers for the Magic in this one. You're just almost never going to win games without that. I don't believe in broadcaster jinx really, unless when they work in our favor. But as soon as the broadcast recently started talking about how the Magic have been the best team in the league, turning the ball over the last couple weeks, the turnovers have been a big problem for this team again very recently. Tristan da Silva 5 of 9, 3 of 4. 21 minutes, 13 points. He had 9 points in the first 4 minutes of this game, hit his first 3 threes and then kind of struggled the rest of the way. Wendell, not a great Wendell game. 2 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 for 6 in 20 minutes. Desmond was out of the starters, the guy that was probably, especially I think it was that second quarter when the Magic got down, he started being more aggressive in getting to the rim and helped the Magic kind of stay in that game in the first half. He was 5 of 8, 1 of 2 from deep, 4 of 6 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, but again, 4 turnovers. Can't have that. Anthony Black, 4 turnovers. When you have 12 turnovers from your 3 main ball handlers in a game that play supposed to be the majority of the minutes, you're really going to have a tough time winning a game. You're just giving the other team far too many extra possessions. Goga Batadze, really, really mixed feelings for me on Goga in this one. 10 points in 20 minutes, 5 of 7, 5 rebounds, 5 personal fouls. Just so often just looked completely lost. I don't know if the knee is still bothering him. Not quite sure what's going on that end. But his effort just really wasn't all that good. The game flipped when they went to this lineup of Noah, Jace, Tyus, J.I., and Jet Howard. And then the game kind of started to flip back the other way when Goga came back into the game. Now, I'm not blaming all that on Goga. Those other guys that had been on the floor had been out there for quite a while. And the defensive intensity just started to dwindle a little bit, as you would expect with guys playing that hard for that long when they were down as much as they were. But Noah Penda, Jace Richardson, Tyus, Jonathan Isaac, Jet Howard. I mean, Tyus is in for a big portion with that third unit. Ends up a plus 11, but Jace was a plus 17. Jet Howard a plus 23 in just under 16 minutes. The fact that he was 2 for 10, though, we saw this a little bit in that Boston game where he goes crazy in that fourth quarter. Just started to really force things a bit towards the end when it was pretty clear that the Magic were running out of gas there. But I thought he was pretty good, especially the first part of that fourth quarter. But really the story in this one is Jace Richardson. 20 points in 25 minutes, 42 seconds, 7 of 12 from the floor, 3 of 4 from deep, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Did have a couple of turnovers, but almost everybody that touched the ball in this one had turnovers. For the Wizards, CJ McCollum killed the Magic all night, but especially in that fourth quarter, he finishes with 27 points. Alex Sarr, 23. Washington shoots 45% from the floor and 32% from deep and shot 33 free throws. They made 31 of them. Turnovers and fouling, just what you're giving them way too many possessions. The field goal attempts doesn't tell the entire story about the possession battle tonight, given the fact that you gave them 19 turnovers. But 33 free throws, those are a lot of field goal attempts that were not accounted for because you were sending them to the free throw line. Go ahead and take a quick look at the summary here. 56 points in the paint for the Magic. The offense wasn't great the entire night. There were definitely some lulls, but the offense was not the reason that you lost this game. The reason that you lost this game was the turnovers and the defense. Magic, 62 bench points. Jace Richardson leading the way with 20, but we talked about those other guys that came in, and really your entire fourth quarter and a lot of the offense in the third quarter came from that bench as well. I think they went on a 20-8 run over the span of the last few minutes of the third and then starting the fourth to get back into this game. And yeah, 29 points off turnovers for Washington in a game that you lose by 8. Not really great. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the chat and see if we can find any chat messages that are not about either firing Jamal Mosley or being mad at Paolo Banchero. Dumps Woe, thank you so much for the generous super chat. He says, our on-court leadership seem to not have the mentality to lead a team with championship expectations. Go Magic, sad face. Yeah, it's tough right now, guys. I wish I had an answer. I think for me personally, that is why things have been so frustrating as of late, because I just don't have a good answer for it. I thought, and we talked about it on the show, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, that hey, like Franz and Jalen come back and you get Mo Wagner and all of this is fixed. But the fact that the effort has been so poor for a month now is frustrating. Step-by-step photography and video says, my emotions are too big for me to handle. I get it. Kevin Anton says, how can you blame Mosley for the starters not boxing out and not defending? How is that his fault? This is a very good question, and this is what I don't understand. Again, a lot of people are speculating that guys have given up on Jamal Mosley, so on and so forth. I don't think right now that I agree. I would say that if we're talking about like the percentage of a statement being founded versus unfounded, I would say it's like 90% unfounded. Maybe not. Maybe 90% is too much. I don't know what number to put on it, guys. I am just as confused and as frustrated as a lot of you are. And we've talked about this last couple shows. Like, how do you assign blame of effort, like versus like coach versus players? Like, the guys are on the floor. They obviously want to win. So why are they not putting forth the effort right now? That is the biggest question, I think. Kevin says, saying we need to trade for Trae Young is the most boneheaded take ever. Yeah, if you look, folks, I get that people are infatuated with Trae Young. I know there's a lot of stuff swirling around right now, with the not even rumors. It doesn't seem like, it seems like reports that the Hawks and Trae Young are working on a trade for Trae Young to move on from Atlanta. But if you think that Trae Young comes in and fixes any of this, you have not been watching basketball. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot of criticism. Blazer RPT says it seems they don't care anymore. You would just have to think that they do, right? Like, logically, of course they care. Like, this is what they do for a living. This is what they spend all their time doing. But there's just the question of, hey, why are they not playing hard? Why are they not defending? Why are they not boxing out? Why are they not getting rebounds? I don't know. Blake W says, Franz, please come back, bro. Yes. Franz 100% needs to come back. Matthew Thomas says, I've been a fan since the mid-2000s. Stop coping. Don't know what that's about, but it's one of the lone comments here that is not about... these are mostly about Jamal Mosley. That's mostly what I'm getting here. Noah, Penda, and Jace are trying to win more than P5 tonight. That seemed to be fair, but ultimately, I don't think that I agree with that. Toe Life Channel 3679 says, being a Magic fan is exhausting for real, though. Yes, these days it is very, very difficult. This guy is a clown. We lost the game, and he says, only time will tell. I'm out. See ya. See you later. Goodbye. I don't know if you're talking about me or whoever. I don't really know what I said, but don't really care. Let's see. Blake W says, or Charles says, we need a Dennis Rodman type of player on our team. The thing is, we do have a few of those. We've got Desmond Bane, who can be a little bit of a hothead. We have 3 other guys, Franz, Jalen, and Mo Wagner, and remember, all of those guys are sitting on the bench right now, so that is a bit of a problem. Okay. Yeah, there's just a lot of vague comments here. Blazer says struggling against the rebuilding Wizards is diabolical. Yeah, the Wizards, we'll take a look at this in just a few minutes here, but the Wizards have been playing better as of late. I want to say they're pretty close to 500 over their last 10 games. The Wizards are, they're 6-4 over their last 10 games. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. So they're 10-25 on the season. Yeah, they've been playing a lot better basketball as of late, and the Magic have not been playing good basketball as of late. That is a very, very, very big problem. Okay, let's go ahead. We are going to get back to, we're going to take a look at some of the games around the league. But first, I want to take a look at the standings. Let me get that up. Let me go ahead and flip over to that here. Unfortunately, folks, we've been talking about this. The last episode that came out on yesterday, talked about how you were just half a game up on the Heat and the Cavs. Well, with the Magic losing tonight and the Heat and the Cavs both winning their last games, the Magic are now the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. That is just not good. 5-5. We've talked a little bit about this. Like, look at all these teams that are hovering around 5-5. It does seem to be just kind of like a weird part of the year. There are some teams that are the outlier to the upside and to the downside of that. But man, when we go to the Magic and we look at this schedule, and you're just going to see like red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. Just not cool, man. Like, it is. I get everybody's frustration. And definitely do feel some responsibility to try and what are we doing here? To try and like limit some of the negative emotions, because if we start to feed into that, then it can like really get out of control. But I get it. I get the fact that people are frustrated. Whether or not firing Jamal Mosley like right now at this point in time is the right answer, I would probably say no. Can I say that with 100% certainty? I cannot, strictly because of the reason that I don't know what is going on with the effort. I lean towards that not being the coach's fault, but it's just really, really weird. And maybe it's just as simple as this team can't play basketball without Franz and without Jalen Suggs. And if that's the case, we have some problems that need to be addressed. It's not good. Don't know the answer to that one, folks. Not going to act like I do. Let's take a look at some of the games around the league. Well, the Heat are down big to the Timberwolves. So it looks like, let me go back to our handy-dandy standings here. They'll fall to 20-17, so the Magic will jump back ahead of the Miami Heat. If that result holds, which it most likely will, 19 points with, just under 8 minutes to go. Cavs beat the Pacers tonight. We know the Magic lost. Lakers are barely beating the Pelicans with 5 minutes to go. And the Spurs just took the lead over the Grizzlies with 3:45 to go. And then the Mavs and the Kings, they play in just over an hour. So, okay, let's go ahead, go back to the chat, and we will close this one out. Edison Alive Coffee says, this law shouldn't sting because it happened. It stings because it shouldn't have. We have the talent, but not always the will. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Razor RPT or Blazer RPT says, I'm going to be at the game tomorrow, kind of nervous. I get that. Because again, Brooklyn has been playing really well as of late. They've been one of the best defenses in the league the last couple weeks. And Magic aren't playing well. So I don't think anybody should just count tomorrow as a win by any means. Moose with Mackie says, if you were in charge of the roster, what changes would you make before the deadline? I think it's pretty obvious that this team right now, even though you have the talent of a tax team, I don't know that the team should just be super willing to like get into one of like the repeater tax seasons right now, given how right now this team does not look like a contender. If they really looked like a contender, maybe you go, okay, we'll just, stay above the tax, whatever, start the repeater clock, whatever, which like being a repeater in the tax after a number of years, you start to get like pretty severe penalties in terms of what you can do, who you can sign, what mechanisms you have to make transactions, etc. I would probably find a way. I would probably move Tyus Jones. Just going to throw that out there, open up more time for Jace Richardson. I think you could argue that the ceiling and the floor for this team are just better with Jace Richardson playing, and he has been playing a little bit more as of late. But Tyus Jones alone, I don't think gets you below the tax. Probably move on from Jet Howard. If you get everybody healthy, you get Franz, you get Mo, you get Jalen, you get all these guys back. And if you're going to play, like Jace Richardson, maybe Noah Penda a bit more, I think the writing is on the wall that the team is more invested into Jace and Noah at this time. And there's a good argument that both of those guys are better and more impactful than Jet at this point in time, as much as that pains me to say. He's an unrestricted free agent after this year. So probably, move some guys, get under the tax, and then see what happens. Jonathan, you look like the kid from Kid and Play. I don't know who that is. I hope that is not an insult, but if it is, screw you. But if it's not, then thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's just funny, regardless if it's an insult or not. I'm very much kidding about screw you, but hopefully it's not an insult. Ronald Hennessy says, I paid good money for behind the Magic bench tomorrow. Better not see the same performance. Yeah, I really, really hope that is true, that they don't see the same performance. Tyler Morrison says, shout out to Jonathan for not ducking any of the topics. Hey, to y'all's credit, you're making it pretty much impossible to duck any of that, because it's just it's really all the chat is. But you all are here, you're listening, you come to us for analysis and talking about this team. So you guys say things, we're gonna address it. It looks like I missed a super chat here. I really apologize for this. Appreciate Moves with Mackie says, if you were in charge, what changes would you make? Oh, I just answered that and missed that it was a super chat. So my apologies, but thank you so much for the super chat. Yurav Patel says, Mike Malone is still available. LOL. I'm only addressing this because so many of you are saying this. We have, if you move on from Jamal Mosley, we have as fans right now, we have no idea whether or not getting Mike Malone at this point in the season would even be realistic. Let alone, if you make a move like that, you better hope the guy that you hire is either the guy that gets you pretty close to or to a championship. Now, obviously, Mike Malone has proven that he can do that, but that is just such a massive, firing Jamal Mosley. If you were to fire Jamal Mosley at this point in the season, the most likely thing to do would be to make Joe Prunty the interim head coach, who he has served in interim roles before, so it wouldn't be this super crazy thing to ask him to do that in that circumstance. I just don't think it happens, unless with the caveat, I did say this on the last episode. If this continues for the next month, the way the effort has been going, and you're winning a game, you're losing a game, you're winning a game, you're losing a game, then maybe. I don't really know. Okay, Mess679K9X, he said play the song. I really wish we could do that, but unfortunately, that's just not in the cards for us tonight. We're not going to play the song after that game, not after a loss. And man, even if you wanted to win that game, I don't know. Robra says, Eddie, go home, you're drunk. Yeah, Eddie Frolic just keeps saying stop defending Jamal Mosley. I don't see it as defending Jamal Mosley, because that's not what I'm doing. Defending Jamal Mosley means that I have some type of ulterior motive. At the end of the day, I want this team to be the best that it can be, regardless of who the head coach is or whatever. Now, do I personally like Jamal Mosley? Yes. Do I give Jamal Mosley all the credit in the world for getting this team to this point? And who knows? Can he get us to the next point, to the next level? I still think he's going to get the chance to do that. But I'm trying to be fair about this, give what my opinion on what is going on. It's not like a defense of Jamal Mosley. It's my opinion. If you don't agree with that, you're more than welcome to disagree with that. But don't just paint it as, I'm just defending this guy, because that's really not the case. This is a good point. Heck yeah. 03 says Jamal has done a lot of good things for us and would be hired immediately if we let him go. But if Paolo and the team don't respond to him anymore, guess we have to. All of that is to be seen. Yet to be seen. Okay. Brandon says J.I. has made so many game-changing plays this season, yet y'all just want to look at stat sheets, and he does that with the most inconsistent minutes. Play him. Look, Brandon, I'm a massive J.I. fan. Really like J.I. But for some reason, he's not able to play more than like 15 minutes a game with any level of consistency. And that is a problem. And yes, he has made a lot of impact plays this year, but he just doesn't do it consistently enough. And I'm literally like one of the biggest Jonathan Isaac fans out there. But yeah, really, really, really tough. Here's a great question. HOP2322 says, do we think the Wagner bros are back at our next home game? I don't really know. I really hope so. Would love to see that. Not 100% sure, but I think if you're going to bring them back for the Berlin game, if they're able to play in that game on, what is that? Is that Friday coming up now? What's today? Today's Tuesday. No, they play Wednesday. The home game is at Philly on Friday and then New Orleans on Sunday, I believe. Yes, Philly on Friday, New Orleans on Sunday. I would bring them back Friday. Like if they're able to play, even if you only play them for like 10-minute stretches. One for like the crowd pop that they would get in coming back in those games. But also just like give them a chance to kind of like get their legs underneath them. And why am I opening programs that I don't need to open right now? Let me go back to, okay. Anyways, all right, folks, that I think is just about going to do it for this one. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Another game tomorrow. I forget who is on the postgame live. I don't think it's me. It might be me. It might be Matt. It might be Sam. Maybe it's Kevin. I really don't remember at this point. I don't think it's Kevin, but I could be wrong about that. But thanks everybody for tuning in to the postgame live. We've got another game tomorrow. Magic effort 100% needs to be better. We need to see more out of those guys. We need to bounce back with a win. Thank you all so much. And as always, go Magic.